Time is the mercy of eternity. Without time's swiftness, which is the swiftest of all things, all will eternal torment. William Blake. The Punisher by Garth Ennis and John Severin. The Tyger. They'll blame it all on Vietnam, and they'll be right, and they'll be wrong. Precision shooting, a pre-sighted kill, enough to say ex-military, that'll be the starting point. The entire top echelon of New York's foremost family, all at once, boss, underboss, consularity. A little digging, a word of someone, asking questions, gathering intel in the neighborhood. The files throw up a possible that soon becomes a probable. USMC, 3 tours, a place that no one wants to talk about, Valley Forge. A name, a motive, with a little certainty. Frank Castle. The rest is mine alone, and will always be. No one has a reason to go that far. That summer, 16 years ago, Lauren Bavoli, the Rosa Kid, the Tyger, the burning man outside the Brooklyn Navy Yard. 1960, I was 10. I could always tell my father at a distance. He was taller than the other men. It always seemed like there was so much more of him. That day I wasn't even looking. My parents never knew how much I learned by being quiet. I was good at it. I could use my eyes, my ears. It was easier than always asking questions. I knew where Dad kept the key to the lockbox, with the purple hearts and the bronze star, and something else. The photograph. Guys holding up a flag emblazoned with the rising sun, grinning faces smeared with gray volcanic ash. I knew Mom wept for my brother in the early mornings, stillborn 3 years before. A memory she had christened Michael. I was curious, was all. The whole school had a crush on Lauren Bavoli. The whole neighborhood. It had been a year since the men had started noticing. That much kindness, along with that much beauty. She belongs in my old life, when the world was still a thing worth fighting for. Most of my childhood I spent in my imagination. I was alone a lot, had a tendency to drift away. To me, the poems and the books my mother had inherited were an escape. They spoke of wilder worlds than the comic book or any movie could evoke. They seemed to burn with color. I marched through Mandalay, across the Orient with Kipling's British Army, wandered a never-ending garden in the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, followed Coleridge's sacred river down to the sunless sea. Mom mentioned it to Father David, who ran a class for kids from junior high. Some of it might go over my head, but did I want to come along? It was me and Lauren, who loved anything to do with words, and the kind of kid who liked to spend summer evening reading poems. Father David, he read well. He and William Blake had me from the get-go. And I imagined the tiger. Like the caged tigers at the Bronze Zoo, but something more, something that could not be held. That would be bigger, badder, deadlier than anyone or anything that walked the planet. That would look you in the eyes and know your terror. That would not know mercy no remorse, nor even the concept of stopping, not having been constructed with those qualities in mind. A force made flesh. The tiger. Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night. What immortal hand or eye could frame your fearful symmetry? In what distant deeps or skies burnt the fire of your eyes? On what wings dare he aspire? What hand dare seize your fire? And what shoulder and what art could twist the sinews of your heart? And when your heart began to beat, what dread hand, what dread feet, what the hammer, what the chain, in what furnace was your brain? What the anvil, what dread grasp, dare its deadly terrors clasp? When the stars threw down their spears and watered heaven with their tears, did he smile his work to see? Did he who make you also make the lamb? The tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forests of the night. What immortal hand or eye dare frame your fearful symmetry? And yet they'll blame it all on Vietnam. And they'll be right, and they'll be wrong. The tiger.